Hello and welcome to the Peak Millennials podcast. I'm Collins.
And I'm Natalie.
Each week we will delve deep into various peak millennial topics, exploring what we remember
and what we want to forget.
And reading some captivating stories that'll invoke a sense of deja vu in all of us.
This is the age before iPhones and the social media that we know today.
Where a good mix CD, silver eyeshadow, and an MTV raised us.
So crack open that Jones soda.
And kick off your black Converse.
And let's teleport back into the world of the peak millennials. Make sure to send us your stories to peakmillennialspod@gmail.com or on our Instagram at peakmillennialspod.
And make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live. Hi. Hey.
Hello.
How you doing, girl?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
We were off last week.
Yes, we were off. You were attending the Home and Garden show. Give us a brief synopsis of what happened.
Okay, so minor correction. Northwest Flower and Garden show. Northwest Flower and Garden show. It was totally fine because they both went on in the same weekend, which was totally weird because in my opinion, the Home and Garden show, thumbs down.
Wow.
I mean, for me, it's not my favorite because like I'm not a homeowner and it focuses mostly on things like landscaping and not like more like garden care and that kind of stuff and like hot tubs and arbors and blah 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 blah. Whereas the Northwest Flower and Garden show is held in the same convention center as like Emerald City Comic Con. And they literally bring in like pounds of like compost and plant materials and all of stuff and build up these beautiful like mini garden scenes all throughout the whole like main floor of the convention center.
What?
Yeah. It's so beautiful. And so I'll have to send you some screenshots because it's just so beautiful. There was ones that were like, it was like a little library in the woods.
Oh, that's
there
cute.
There was one that was like, it was themed after like lemons. So it had this very like beautiful, like Greek vibe. It was beautiful. It's just a beautiful experience. If you like flowers, if you like flowers and kind of, and they have like learning about what works in our zone, like our gardening zone.
Okay.
They bring in there's like beekeepers and you can like host bees in your backyard. And there's just, I mean, they have sessions where you can like learn. I went on Saturday and Sunday and I learned about preserving, so more than just like canning, so like pickling, dehydrating, drying, like all that stuff to make the most out of like your garden space. Brian sat and listened to like soil health, what you can do to like make your soil better for your lawn or for your garden specifically. There's a couple like that was hosted by one of the sponsors for the show. They're called Epic Gardening, and they not only own a seed company, but they also do a bunch of stuff on YouTube. And so we had met the owners of the company last year.
Okay.
And they were back again, and that's who did their soil health. And then I met and I like had my full fangirl moment. Met one of the people that like inspires me to keep like gardening and like doing all of these things. And her name is Meg, and she's very, very like, and she's just popular on YouTube. She has her own podcast. And we met her on Saturday. Like, Brian and I were like walking around and we're like, where, like, because we knew that she was going to be there on Saturday
Mhm.
and Sunday. And we were kind of walking around like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And we grabbed some sandwiches and we like sat down to eat. And I was like, I wonder if we're going to see her today because we knew we were going to see her on Sunday anyways.
Yeah.
And in like the cafe, I don't know, it's not like it's like the cafe,
Yeah, it's
like
like the cafe.
yeah, right
Yeah.
in that cafe. We had sat right in the tables out front, and I like
Which are like
look
the only
over.
tables at
Yeah, the
all in
only
this
tables.
entire
Yeah,
convention.
yeah. The whole space, it's like 6 tables.
Yeah.
And so we sat down, and I was like, I wonder if we're gonna see her today. And I look like the biggest fangirl because I had like ordered a shirt from her. She had launched some merch, and so I was like wearing a shirt from her merch, and I
Yeah,
was
which
wearing
is
like
cute.
I
That's cute.
put this whole outfit together. I was so excited, and it said like Meg's Garden Club or Garden. Yeah, it was Meg's Garden Club, and I was sitting at the table, and I was just like eating my sandwich, and I look over, and I was like, oh, that person looks like Meg. I've never met her in person, and like I've only watched her on
Oh.
YouTube and like listened to her podcast, and um and I look over and I was like, "Oh, that looks like Meg." And that looks just like
Stop.
her. And then she turns around and I was like, "It's her." And I'm sitting there like, and I got super nervous, and Brian's like, "Oh my gosh, calm down, it's fine." And I was like, "I don't want to be a freak, but I am so, I don't want to be like, oh my God, I'm not obsessed, but like I have so much respect for her. And
Yeah.
I'm just, I don't want to be like, I'm your biggest fan, but I just have so much respect for her, like as like a
Yeah.
female
You
gardener
can
who,
fangirl. That's totally
yeah,
fine.
like she has created a ton of really great content. She's super smart. She has a degree in microbiology. Like she's just very smart and
Oh
makes
my God.
really great gardening content that's like informational. And so anyways, so she literally, so the table that we were sitting was like here, and just like
Mhm.
literally the table next to us is where she was sitting with her friends. And Brian was like, just go over and introduce yourself. It's fine. And I was like,
Yeah.
she's literally eating. I don't want to like interrupt someone's meal, be like, oh, hi. And so afterwards, we were done eating and we were like cleaning up, and they were getting like cleaned up to like leave too.
Mhm.
And we ended up just like, they had walked off, and I was like, I'm not gonna like stalk these people. But like we're just walking in, like we were walking in the same general direction. And so
Mhm.
I was like, if we run into them later, like that's fine. But I was just like, oh, I saw her, and that's so cool. And then we happened to like run into her again, and like I made eye contact with her, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am your biggest fan. And she was like, you're wearing my shirt. And I was like,
Actually, I am your biggest fan.
and I was like, I have to tell you I'm your biggest fan. I'm not trying to like stalk you through this garden show.
That's
But it
so
was just,
funny.
it was really cool. And then we chatted, and I over the summer I had like made a a bunch of like pepper jelly. Like I like
Mhm.
made it, I canned it, it's all shelf stable, like it's all good. And I take a lot of pride from it because I grew the peppers myself.
That's
and
incredible.
and then so it's like peach pepper jelly, but then the peaches, as you are familiar, like they came from Yakima, so they were Yakima peaches
Oh
with
my
like
God.
peppers I grew in my garden. So it was just like a very like cumulative, like Washington thing. Like,
Mm,
um, and so I gave it to her, and I was like,
that's
I
so
don't
special.
hope this is not weird, but I made this pepper jelly and I would like to share it with you.
That's so special. Oh my
It was
God.
really cool. And so afterwards, she reached out to me and she was like, please share that recipe with me. I absolutely loved it.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and I was just like, "Ah, my jelly." And then we saw her again on Sunday, and and when I walked into, like, the room that she was, like, holding her little session,
Mhm.
I had, like, made eye contact with her, and she was like,
Oh my
and I was like, "Ah!"
God.
Because in my mind, like, if I was just some, like, crazy fangirl that she was like, "Ew, gross, don't talk to me," you know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
I
that
would have
there
been
would be
mortified.
yeah, but she recognized me and, like, waved, and then we chatted again after her session, um, and she follows me now on Instagram. Woo!
She could potentially see this podcast.
Probably, yes. Yes, she probably could, and that's totally fine. I probably wouldn't I probably wouldn't have, like, in a way, like, we've talked about doing a podcast for so long, but I was
Right.
always super nervous.
Aw.
And I don't want to, like, lump it all on one person and be like, "They're the person that inspired me to, like, go ahead and do this,"
Mhm.
because to be fair, there were multiple things that kind of culminated in my life to, like, inspire
Yeah.
me and, like, give me courage to do this. Um, but I find that the more strong, like, women that are in my circle that I watch and I see their content and I'm like, they do it, so, like, I could do it too, and, like,
Yeah.
that's kind of my mindset. So, in a way, like, I have to say thank you to her because she also does a podcast. She creates content, a ton of content, and, like, I just aspire to have, like, that bit of, like, confidence in myself to, you know, do those kinds of things.
That
So,
makes me so emotional. I love that. I love that
but
so
other
much.
but other than that, the flower and garden show, like, it was fantastic. It was beautiful. We I bought a lemon tree, so now I own my own lemon tree.
That's the
And
dream,
if
man.
it was fantastic. It's a little Meyer. She's a little Meyer lemon tree. So I can put her outside in the spring and the summer and the fall. But then once in the winter, I have to bring her inside. But she's pretty compact, so
I
it
love that.
it's my favorite. And then garden wise, like, I fucked up. I fucked
What do you mean?
up.
How?
So for our listeners,
Oh
I
no.
have a garden at my house and I
Okay.
start a lot of my own seeds myself.
Okay.
Um, because I like to grow different varieties that you can buy at, like, Carpenitos and little garden centers. Um, well, this year I decided that I was going to go on a whim and I was going to not use the same, like, mix that I normally use. I was like, I'm going to be creative and I'm going to add a couple of different things into my soil mix in hopes that
Mhm.
I can, like, uh bump up my soil, whatever, my
Yeah.
potting mix, my seed starting mix, if you will. And
Mhm.
what ended up happening is that my seeds did not germinate because they were not happy.
Oh no.
So I started a lot. I don't even remember how many seeds I started, but I have to start them all over again.
No.
Yeah. One, I had to reorder some seeds because I used my whole pack that I had, and it's a very
Oh.
specific type of jalapeno that I wanted to grow this year. It's called Megatron, like a big giant mega jalapeno. But anywho,
Like the
but you
the
have to
bit
say it like that.
the one jalapeno
Megatron.
to rule us all.
Mhm. Yeah. But I made a mistake, so and it's fine. Every year,
Oh.
I learn something new when I come into gardening, and that's A-okay. But yeah. So it was a good time. We go every year. We'll probably go again. I mean, not probably. We will go again next year, and we'll probably take the girls with us.
Okay.
Um, I just I like to take the girls places, but sometimes it's nice just to be an adult and not have to.
Yeah.
So we like to
It's
go
kind of
like at least,
nice.
yeah, at least one day. Are you, speaking of the convention center, um, are you going to ECC next week?
No, I'm not going to ACC. Here's the reason why.
Oh,
Here's the
why?
reason why. Um, so next weekend there are many things happening in the Seattle area. That I made the conscious choice to go to a wrestling show,
Oh,
and I'm also going to a one of the fat socials. We're doing a karaoke.
oh,
So we're doing that. And yeah, I just decided that I wasn't going to go this year
yeah.
because it also like last year I felt like fatigue from convention because I always go to SakuraCon every year. And last year was the first year that I worked SakuraCon as a volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like going to ECC. I had 2 weeks and then it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this year, SakuraCon is a little bit later. Let's see, I think SakuraCon is do, 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 do. Let me pull it up. It's the first weekend in April. So it's at, second, third, fourth, and fifth, right? So now there's like exactly kind of like a month in between, whereas last year it
Mm-hmm.
was ECC was later. So it was like
Yeah.
super bunched up together. And I got really
Yeah.
like burnt out at being at the convention. It's usually a lot of the same kind of vendors.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just wanted I like SakuraCon a little bit better because it's not as big. And then of course find out who's going to be at ECC this year. Um, let's see. I'm going to tell you some of these. I like going for like the panel, like specifically like the panels is
Mm-hmm.
but do.
I thought Matthew Lillard was gonna be
He's
there.
going to be there. Matthew Lillard and
Yeah.
um okay. Why is this website just absolutely atrocious?
It's always bad. It's so bad. I like I have never gone to SakuraCon,
Mhm.
but I have been to ECC, and I kind of want to go to SakuraCon this year.
Well, you should. So Hayden Christensen is going to be there.
Mm. Okay.
Who my one of my childhood crushes. Okay.
Yes.
Ian Somerhalder. Somerhalder
Oh,
from
yeah,
Vampire
Vampire
Diaries.
Diaries.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna be there. There's a bunch of like they're having like a Gravity Falls like little thing where a bunch of people are there.
You know who he's married to, right?
Mm-mm.
Um, Friggin' what's her name from Twilight? Uh, Rosalie.
What?
Mm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, they've been married for a really long time.
Um
Lost my whole train of thought. I was like,
but there's also going to be at ECC, which I'm kind of sad about. There's going to be like an entire like romance genre panel of novels.
oh.
So I heard that through the grapevine that there's going to be a whole panel about that, and I'm kind of sad that I'll miss that because that is a goal of mine is to write a
Mm-hmm.
romance novel. And
I would read it. If you do
well,
that, I
thank
would read it.
you. Thank you.
I
But
would.
lots of cool things are gonna happen at ECC. But yeah, that was the thing that made me the most sad is that Hayden Christensen and Ian Somerhalder are going to be there, and
You're like, damn.
yeah.
Damn.
But I did send you something like RetroCon or like Nostalgic Con or something, which I'd never heard of before. Where are all these conventions coming from? Who is backing them with these monies? I just like last summer went to SummerCon. Well, two summers ago was the first time I went to SummerCon, and that's where I found Miss 1996 Barbie over here. Because it was like very like, okay, this is like everybody's seeking nostalgia, which is like kind of our niche here with the podcast at the Peak Millennials podcast. It was their first time that you're listening to this. Yes, we do very like nostalgic things. It's like kind of our niche, you know?
Our niche.
But I'm noticing like kind of an uptick of the conventions, of like random ass conventions happening, but like Nostalgia Con.
You know what? I think that might be really fun. Like, and that's cute.
Oh, it's called Rewind Washington.
Oh, there's actually a thing called NostalgiaCon, and it's only on like what I can see, mostly just like in Salt Lake, Anaheim, and then East Coast.
It makes me wonder, like, are they all funded by the same person that they're just trying to go around? But it looks like this Rewind Washington, which is like at the end of March, is going to have JC Chazé from NSYNC. That's their biggest headliner. It's JC Chazé. It's going to be at this convention that it says this is the first time they're ever doing this fucking convention.
And Amy Jo Johnson, my friend.
Johnson, Scott Patterson from Gilmore Girls is going to be there. Luke.
What?
Reginald Vell Johnson, who is Carl Winslow, is going to be there. Eric Estrada is going to be there.
Tim Blaney. This is how you know that they're really, really bringing it back. Tim Blaney was from Short Circuit. Did you ever see Short Circuit? The movie about, it was about a robot named Johnny Five, and he was a robot, and he fell in love with I don't remember what her name is, but she was like the weird girl in Breakfast Club, you know, like Pixie Stick Sandwich.
Yeah.
But he fell in love with her because she was like the lead in this movie. And he was like a legit robot. Like when I tell you he was a robot, like a full robot. It's a good movie, but it came out in the 80s. Like this looks like it would be kind of an interesting,
like it just looks like a photo op. Like it just looks like a, you know, opportunity for people to go meet, you know, their heroes, which is totally cool. There's some things in here that I don't recognize, but Mark Summers, Double Dare, Kirk Fogg, which is Legends of the Hidden Temple, you know, like there's a whole bunch of random side characters from Seinfeld, including the Soup Nazi. Sounds like a really cool thing, and they're not even paying us to advertise. Sergeant Slaughter is going to be there. Jimmy Hart, like these are like,
oh my goodness, this sounds really like, it sounds funny to me. Like
it does sound funny, and I just think, it says Rewind Washington is SummerCon's version of a nostalgia and retro convention, with amazing guest exhibit, vendors, artists, panels, video games, and so much more on March 28th through 29th at the Washington State Fair and Event Center in Flip.
Oh man, friend, we missed the Anime Washington. That was the February 6th through the 8th at the same place.
Wow.
They're doing this.
You know, I've never thought before, Like, what happens to the fairgrounds when it's non-fairground season? Because here in the state of Washington,
This is what they do.
yeah, this is what they do. Because in the state of Washington, September, the entire month of September is dedicated to the Washington State Fair, right?
Punky Brewster is gonna be there.
It's
Steve
crazy.
Booty.
It's crazy because I wouldn't have never thought like this is where you go. And of course, you know, I've gone to a tattoo convention here. I've gotten my lake tattoo. My lake tattoo was done at the tattoo exhibit there. What?
Scott Patterson, Luke from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, girl. It's crazy.
Tiffany, I think we're alone now. Doesn't seem to be anyone around.
And they have something that's called prom tickets. What do you mean prom tickets on sale in January? Well, guess what? It's after January. So
this is it. This is Debbie Gibson.
Yeah, Debbie Gibson.
Oh my gosh.
So
this sounds like a vibe.
It does. So it's interesting that this has just happened upon my Instagram. I had to tell you, but I really want to know if you're here wanting. I don't know, man. That's not what I'm here for.
That was the choice of photo.
But tell us in the comments. Are you for like these random conventions? Do you go to these random conventions? Yes. Outside of your regular Comic-Cons, are you a convention person? Tell us all your thoughts in the comments down below on this video or on the audio, or just tell us over on Peak Millennials Pod on our Instagram. But speaking of nostalgia,
I need to put this away.
The topic of the show, you want to be on top. You've watched the America's Next Top Model documentary.
I have.
Okay, so if you've been living under a rock, there's a Netflix documentary out there, produced by Tyra Banks, by the way, about the insane pieces of America's Next Top Model. And I have a lot of thoughts, okay? If you don't know what America's Next Top Model is, it was a reality show on the UPN, which was like everybody's redheaded stepchild. You know, no one watched the UPN. It was the Dancing Frog, you know? I watched UPN, but it was
the Dancing Frog before it became, and before UPN got like what absorbed by WB and CW.
Correct. So according to the documentary, Tyra Banks took this show shopped it around to multiple networks. Everybody said no. So they took it to UPN, which was their last chance saloon. And they decided to take a chance on a reality show of making the model, right? Taking someone from nowhere and catapulting them into model stardom. So the show is created by Tyra Banks, who served as executive producer. At one time it was like, I was trying to remember, there was Tie Baby, Bankable Productions. Like she had all these like different production companies, which is just so entrepreneur of her. You know what I mean?
She was just coming up with all these random random production companies that were just weird variations of her first and last name.
Yeah, so it was Tie Baby Productions from 2003, which is when the show started, to 2006. Then Bankable Productions from 2006 to 2012, which is when the show was at its height. And then they turned into the Tyra Banks Company from 2012 to 2018. So there's a lot to talk about this documentary, but I did want to talk about that. This really put UPN on the map. for the early 2000s. Their seasons are referred to as cycles. So when we talk about cycles, we're not talking about menstruation or moon cycles. We are talking about the seasons of America's Next
The
Top
seasons.
Model. This was like a hot cake for advertisers. Advertisers paid $61,000 for 30 seconds during the 2011-2012 season, which is the highest of any series that was on the CW at the time, which I think is crazy. There's been so many spoofs about it. There are cultural moments that are, I think, just burned in the retina of my brain, the retina of my skull.
Which is crazy because I think a lot of people forgot, like they forgot these things. And the only reason like it's kind of come back and became popular was during quarantine.
Yeah.
That people started to rewatch the show and caught a lot of those very various, because there was a few of them, cultural appropriation bits, insensitive ideas, weekly themes or episode themes that were very triggering to a lot of not only viewers, but also for the models who were on the show. And there were even certain periods where the production crew seemed to ignore kind of the health of the models in favor of getting more juicy shots or, scenes that they could then obviously like put on air, and didn't really care much about the health of the person on the other side of the camera, with different situations of possible SA, health wise, like they're not eating enough, they're not hydrating enough, they're not sleeping enough. Like there was a lot that went into this, that some of these models were just like unfortunately not cared for in the way that they probably should have.
Right. And I do want to say that reality television in 2003, when the show first started, was very different. I mean, yes, America's Next Top Model. We had The Surreal Life. Did you ever watch The Surreal Life?
Was that the one? No, I don't think I watched that one.
The Surreal Life is where they took like a bunch of like has-been celebrities and stuck them all in a house together, and they basically had to coexist together.
No, I didn't watch that one. Like Big Brother.
Kind of, but like they had to do like weird and wacky things together. I mean, VH1 was a weird things, but it was like in like a mansion in the Hollywood Hills, so they really were just like kind of isolated, I guess. Like the first season, MC Hammer, Corey Feldman, Emmanuel Lewis, Jerry Nancy from Survivor, musician Vince Neil was on there. Playboy actress Brandy Roderick was on that first season. So it was like, they had to have like specific, I guess, like challenges, and it was all to like win a bunch of money. And as like the seasons went on, I'm pretty sure that there is a season that does not exist on TV. It'll never it'll never be on the light of day, I guess, because of the possible SA that happened. I mean, season 4 had America's Next Top Model winner from season 1, Adrian Curry and Christopher Knight. They ended up falling in love on the show. Flavor Flav was on a season. And
Love him.
that
I
was
love him so much.
I do too. Shout out to the women's sports, the women's hockey team that won gold medal in the Olympic
Yes.
Games. But season 3,
Go Seattle Torrent. We love
yes,
you.
go Seattle Torrent. But yeah, season 3 had Flavor Flav. Charo was on that season. Dave Coulier was on that.
I always wish that I could roll my R's.
Bridget Nielsen was on it, which is like Flavor Flav and Bridget Nielsen was interesting, and a lot of the memes from, you know, from back in the day. I think there was a season that Tammy Faye Baker was on it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Ron Jeremy was on a season. Like, it was
That's
just
an
like
interesting show.
A very different time. That celebrities were just in a fishbowl, I guess. The Bachelor, Bachelorette were around in this time that they were doing abhorrent things. Punked was around, Queer Eye, The Simple Life, Viva La Bam, we've talked about. American Idol,
like Flavor of Love.
Yeah, Flavor of Love. The Newlyweds was out. Lots of Made was a top 20 show.
A Shot of Love with Tila Tequila.
Yeah, all of this was like of the time, which I don't want to harp on the fact that, like, Tyra said it was of the time. I get that it was of the time to have kind of a very predatory kind of reality show for our entertainment. But that was like one of the first things that Tyra said was like, and because everyone was bored during the pandemic, then everyone started watching America's Next Top Model. And that's the reason why you all are criticizing this 20-year-old plus show, is because you were bored. And it's like, well, actually, we're looking at a different lens. And I think it's okay to look at shows and be like, that kind of was shitty. So I don't know. I think that the documentary really did serve as like a retroactive like expose of like, hey, these harmful things happened. And unfortunately, during the documentary, Tyra did not take any fucking accountability.
No, she took zero accountability. And there was a lot of opportunity for her to take accountability and be like, that probably wasn't the best idea. Because even the Jays, when the Jays were interviewed, they were like, ooh, we probably shouldn't have done that. But like at the time, it just happened. And whilst that is not the best answer, at least they're recognizing. And the photographer too, he was like, some of this stuff was probably not the best now that like I look at it from this perspective,
from this angle.
But they did, I mean, that show was known for the weekly episode to host a theme, and it was always a different, every week it was a different theme,
like and an acting challenge, a commercial challenge, a
dancing challenge. They had to run from the dancing challenge.
Do you remember when Tyra had her like music video? And the models had to learn like dance, which like some of them are like so uncoordinated because like they're there to be a model. They're not there to be a dancer.
They're not there to be a dancer. There was a couple that like really stuck out to me, like, and ones that I had forgotten until I watched the documentary, and it like triggered things in my brain. One challenge that she did was like one of the quick challenges, like I don't remember what they were called.
They were like the mini challenges, whatever they were.
But there was one where she just showed up and she was like, here, I have this bottle of Vaseline, and we're just gonna apply this Vaseline to your like face or to like points of your body to like use as like highlighter, so that when the camera took, when they shot these shots, that like it glossed up their self. I would not. I just want to put this PSA out there that like do not lather yourself in Vaseline. Like
Oh, what they
don't put it
did
in
to
your
Ebony.
hair. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't like if you use it sparingly and like spots of your
Mhm.
body, like put it on your elbows, put it on your heels, like put it on your kneecaps if you're feeling really like if you feel like that. Please don't just put Vaseline on your skin. Because does not wash off.
Well, so
Um,
that was the thing with Ebony is like, and I also want to say things that I didn't know because I live in a white family. I'm white.
yes.
I didn't know the cultural implications of calling a black woman ashy. You know what I mean? Like that was
Yes.
like
Yes.
not part of the conversation in my
No.
household. So when I'm seeing, oh, your knees are ashy, and they're saying that to her,
Yeah.
it's taken in a different way because it's
Oh,
more like
yeah.
objectifying. And so Ebony's
Mhm.
response was, okay, you want me to be moisturized, so I'm gonna constantly be Vaseline using whatever I have here. And then they made an entire segment of that one episode where everyone was like, you touch the door handles and you haven't washed
Yeah.
your hands, and like that's
And it was
nasty and gross
oh,
and it's everywhere. And like her skin texture was like the topic of conversation week after week after week. And I looked at it and I'm like,
mhm.
she has flawless skin. What the fuck?
Oh my god, her skin was so beautiful.
It's so
She
beautiful.
It was so beautiful. Her skin was glowy, but I just remember that one mini challenge where like she came out with like this whole tub of Vaseline and I was like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
my god, that is very just please don't just use that sparingly." Sorry, my cat is like all up in my business. Get out of here. Um, she's gonna like knock my whole setup
But
down.
like
Um, but they were I
also,
mean, no, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, also on that first season, they talked about it in the documentary how like Ebony was openly lesbian
Oh
and
yeah, they were
brought
not.
brought her girlfriend, and they like
Yeah.
showed like really tender moments on the show, which I'd never really seen a lesbian at that point in my life in 2003.
Mhm.
Like that wasn't a thing. And so like this is my first exposure uh on television to like not being overly sexualized and
Mhm.
objectified, and like seeing two lesbians have like a very tender moment, and I
Yeah.
thought that was really important. But then on the other hand, you had another girl, well actually two girls that season that were ultra Christian virgins, and that was like a huge portion of their storyline, which is predatory.
Well, and what they also had on there was like, "Oh, her lesbianism makes me uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable." But it's like, again, how much do you know that it's like blown out of proportion? But Ebony
Right.
also had a lot of respect for the other girls that were on the team and was like, "Hey, would you be okay if my girlfriend came to visit?" Um,
Yeah.
like, ugh, like, but I mean, I feel like Ebony in general was very targeted,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
From the
for
start,
just
from the get-go.
being herself, and like when she was doing her like commentary,
It made
she
me so sad.
yeah, it made me sad because again, it made me really sad for a lot of the women that were included in this show. Just the way that they were treated, but she aged beautifully. Like so beautiful. I mean
It,
a lot of them aged so beautifully and I'm just like, "Damn."
can I tell you, when I lived in New York City, well, when I lived in Queens, one of my friends was like, "Hey, I'm having a little get together. Why don't you come
Mhm.
over?" And it's like a rooftop thing. I had
Yeah.
never been to like a rooftop party,
Yeah.
whatever. Like that was just not really a thing that I had ever gone to. I showed up, and who fucking is there? She's fucking friends with Ebony.
Did
And
you
I
meet
go,
her?
yeah, I met her and I was like, you're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And this is also like during the time where like we didn't have like, I mean, we did have like camera phones, but not like to the quality that we have.
Like your
And the
Samsung
picture is
flip
so
phone?
dark and it sucks, but it's like, I just remember like being so excited. And she was like, I haven't had that much exposure from like the show because at that point it was 2010. So like,
Mhm.
but oh my God, it was just like the light in my eyes. I was like, oh my God, like I wanted to be a model so bad, but like I'm not like so you know what I mean? Like I'm pretty, but like,
Yeah.
in my brain, I was like, you're a model. I'm just
Do you remember the what was that modeling agency that was in magazines? Do you remember? And they would do like shoot, I'll have to look it up. Hold on.
yeah.
But they would do
There,
what was it called? One of the girls that we went to school with, she did this modeling agency.
mhm.
Um oh gosh, what was it called? Um Modeling in oh, it was called something so ridiculous. Modeling adverts in magazines. It was called um I don't remember. I'll
I'm
have to.
confused.
It was like they would put like an ad in like a 17 magazine or whatever, and they were like, come to our modeling school.
What?
Yeah. Hold on. Modeling school advertisement. I don't think they do it anymore. Oh gosh, I don't even remember what it was called.
So it was like an ad for an ad agent or a modeling agency?
Yeah. But it was called something. I don't remember what it was called. But I just remember that you could, if you like called the number or went
Mhm.
online or whatever, it would match you with a modeling agency like in your area that's like a branch off of whatever this is, and you like pay money and they teach you how to like walk and like you could do like runway shows. I can't remember, it was something, I just can't even remember. It's on like on the tip of my tongue. But anywho, one of the girls we went to high school with, she did this and I was just like, I want to be a model too, but like I'm 5'6" on a good day, and like we've mentioned before, like truly just built like a tree trunk. So like I'm not in a model. I'm not tall enough to be a model. And so, and I'm in like, my body's strong, my body's healthy, my body's happy. So like I could give a fuck less. But like, I just remember that I was like, I want to be a model too. And then I like showed the ad, like this ad to my mom, and she was like, that has to be a scam.
That's a
That's not
scam. Any
real.
place that was like, give us $400 and we'll
Yeah.
create you a portfolio. I went to one of
Mhm.
those. And the
Yeah.
moment that they said cash your card, I was like, what?
What?
What do you mean? You saw me in the mall and you were like, you are so tall. And I was like, thank you. Oh my God. You think I'm a model? And they bring me
That's
to
like the
this like
Buddhists
back
in Seattle that are
room.
like giving you like a
Yeah.
bracelet, and they're like, here's the bracelet, and you're like, oh thanks, and they're like,
Oh
give me
my
some money, and you're like,
God.
you gave me this bracelet, like you
Yeah.
didn't, I didn't
You
ask for
did.
this.
You gave me this. I don't have to
I'll
pay
have
for
to
this.
look it up.
But yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, in the documentary, they talk about not only the ebony portion, they do mention Shandy, who Shandy was in season 2, and when they were in Milan, they modeled with male models, and they brought them back to their apartment and they were partying and going in the hot tub. But what we didn't see was like, because Shandy had a boyfriend, that she was getting overly intoxicated. And we know now, with the lens that we have now, is that if you are intoxicated and drunk, you cannot consent, right? But at the time, we were like, oh my God, Shandy's making out with this guy. Oh my God, she's so wild. And now looking at it with a 37-year-old's brain going, oh my God, he sexually assaulted her. And the cameras just kept recording. They did not intervene. They didn't do shit.
Because in the contract, it said that if it was just them, the cameras were not allowed to follow them into like the toilet or into the shower. But because Shandy was technically not alone, that they could follow her wherever she went to. Now, what they also didn't mention is that Shandy had drank 2 bottles of wine, essentially,
for
and
being such a small.
And she was what, like 100 pounds at
If
that
that.
time? So it's like, even if that's where she was on a, like, but for her to drink that much on what was it called? The model's diet, like a cigarette and a Diet Coke or whatever. You know, but they don't talk about the amount of alcohol that she consumed.
Right.
And here she is, just like with this guy.
And the guy was like, they were all partying, but it was like no one in the house had the knowledge that this was happening, or I don't think that they would have like gone, like I feel like they would have stopped it. But it's the fact that like not only did that happen, but then they chose to film her having like an actual like panic attack. And then she's having to call her boyfriend and let her know that she slept with somebody else. And you could hear the guy on the other line, because obviously the conversations are recorded. And he's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And then she got sent home that fucking week. The girl from Walgreens, who was the standout to win season 2, they had to go and fucking do some shit. And I don't know, if that happened to me, you bet your ass I would be suing. I would light them on fire. I would write a campaign, like an anti-ANTM, whatever. The fact that was season 2 and they kept going, crazy.
No. Well, and it just felt like it. I liked America's Next Top Model for like that first season, where it was like, this felt really like, it felt really creative. Like there was a lot of creative energy. And I do have to say that like probably the first three-ish seasons, there was like some really good creative energy that was there. But like as the time went on, I felt like they kind of like hit the bottom of a barrel, and they were trying to like reinvent the wheel and like come up with these like crazy outlandish ideas that honestly, in my opinion, were not my favorite. There was ones that were like, it's almost like, and they would take topics that were triggering and they would be like, that's what you're going to do this week. Like one of the characters, her mom had, I think it was like I don't remember what they would do, like dress up like terminal illnesses. And it's like, my mom had cancer. They would talk about like, oh, my mom had cancer and I'm doing this for her, blah, blah, blah. And then they would be like, okay, you're going to model the like an IV bag and like chemo treatment, like you have cancer, like the most crazy stuff. Like, oh, my mom was, like my mom got shot and like she got injured from someone using a little pow. And they're like, okay, you're going to be a victim who gets, you got shot now too. Like,
yeah.
what? What?
It is crazy because I don't think obviously I don't think it would work at this time. But it was the fact that Tyra Banks knew, hey, this is my fear. Here's a couple things from the interview. Like, my mom got shot, my dad got shot, like, my dog got ran over yesterday, but I'm here, or, what have you. And she used that.
Yeah, she used those
for
triggering
exploitation
bits. Yeah, and she exploited all of those people, and that was really sad. And then, I mean, we could also talk about the fact that she decided that she wanted to mix them up racially. Like, I don't even want to do quotations because she in fact did that, where she would paint her models to be different races entirely.
Oh my God, the race switching, which at the time was fucked.
Oh, it was awful.
So her saying, "Oh, it was we were just trying to push the envelope." You did it. You heard her say that? It was you. It was, and I went, me? I don't hear me part of this conversation. That was a you call. You're the fucking executive producer. You're creative director. What the fuck are you saying? We didn't want this. We didn't want race swapping.
How often do you see models walking the runway, or editorials for that matter, where they're completely race swapping? Like, even as a person who consumes a lot of Eastern media, like Korean, Japanese, Chinese, like a lot of those beauty standards and all of that. A lot of the time now, there's so much call out for whiteout, like paling down their skin tone, going a lot paler than what they normally are. And there's been such a call and a rise for like natural skin tones. But again, it's more of a cultural thing because in my interesting enough, like my nieces and nephews, their grandma's from Peru, and so she is big about them like putting sunscreen on because it's a cultural thing. Like, to have paler skin means that you're higher in society because then you don't have to go out and work outside, and like you're not laboring, all that stuff. So it's a big cultural thing to have paler skin, but like in this situation, it's not. It's, you're literally doing blackface, which is so racially insensitive, or doing yellow face, or making someone that has darker skin color, purposefully making them like what, like it's just, it was so gross. It was so gross then, and it's even more gross now.
And for what reason? Like, what reason? I need to put myself in someone of the of another darker race. Like, to understand, I'm so confused because like they did it not once but twice on the show.
It was terrible.
There's no purpose because it's the fact that like, oh, cool, for aesthetics, you're going darker and you have to see what it's like and how do you feel about it. But you aren't going out in society. You aren't being racially profiled when you go into a store. You aren't having to go on food stamps and see what that's like as a non-white person. You aren't like going up against police as a non-white person. Like, you aren't getting the true implication of what it would mean to not be white, because they live life in a different, like there's no way to say it. Like, they live life differently. There are experiences that a non-white person deals with that I will never fucking understand.
No, and I, as like a as a white person, there are things that I will never understand. But my responsibility is to make sure that the people in my life that aren't white feel as safe as possible. Feel as
Absolutely.
feel as safe as possible. And that's like the flattest. There's no other way to describe it other than I want them to feel comfortable and safe and secure in my life, in when they're with me, like that I've got their back and that I'm here too. Because I find it to be I could go and I could have a big hot take about that because I just think that it's so bullshit that people think that like being white is superior because we could go on a hot take about that. I find that there is such a lack of culturalness in it. I think that every other culture and race has such a beautiful rainbow of things that go on, and like, yeah, anyways, we don't have to go here, but so that was one thing that really annoyed me, and it really was obnoxious that Tyra decided that, again, in this situation, she also didn't want to take any responsibility. It was a common trend within this documentary that she was like, well, at one point when the Shandy situation, she was like, well, you know, I'm not I'm not like a producer, so like I didn't have any insight to that, or I didn't have any say. And it's like, but you're the executive producer, so like,
Right.
doesn't that mean that you do in fact have some form of say here, like that you are able to like step in and be like, ooh, that was probably not my favorite, like, you know. But I mean, there was also a point in time where like the Jays, like Miss J and Jay Alexander, who were two of her BFFs, they started to get more popular and more famous than her, and it felt like she started treating them a little bit differently because of said things. Yeah, this show was such a wild ride, and there were so many things that came out in that series, that the amount of hatred that they had for Janice Dickinson, but
Did nothing about it. They gave her the fucking
literally
platform.
nothing about it.
All they said was, "Oh, she was the Simon Cowell," and I'm like,
No.
yeah, but Simon Cowell didn't call a girl like fucking pig and pudgy
That
and
her gut was
not a
hanging out when like
model.
she had no gut at all. Like, oh god, she made
And
me.
that also brought me to the point that they didn't fucking talk about really is Tokara. Do you remember Tokara, the first fucking plus size model that they had on their show? And she went to some sort of fitting or whatever. And in the real modeling
the race
world,
fitting it was.
Yeah. When you go to a normal fitting or whatever and you say this is my size and they don't have your fucking size, fucking leave. Fucking leave.
Go away.
And Tokara, like, she was what, like a size 8?
Yeah.
6? But like she showed up and they were like, yeah, we don't have anything for you. And so she was like, yeah,
Shame on you.
I'm gonna shit on you, because what the fuck? Like, the stylist should have more options. That's the stylist's job. If the stylist doesn't have my size, they are a bad fucking stylist. And they were like, you're being outrageous, which is also a caveat. She is a black woman and the implications on that motherfucker. But it's the fact that like that following week, they were like, you need to leave, bye. And she was basically like tore down the house for speaking up, for saying that's supposed to be the fucking stylist job. That's not my job to find clothes that fit me. That's your fucking job.
Two things on that. Like, shame on the show, because clearly you're like, oh, we're going to have a plus size model on there. Which, like, if I'm being very honest, a size 6 through 10 is not plus size. Like that
Right.
is that's normal, like that's
Mhm.
standard. I mean, even a 6 is a little on the like if we're going in real sizes, a 10 to 14 is considered like a normal size range, like a healthy range. Anyways, I digress.
Mhm.
Um, but one, shame on the show for not prepping better for this.
Mhm.
And two, also shame on the stylist because you knew, like, it's not as if these, like, what, 8 to 10, however many girls that they had, what, between 6 and 10 girls, that they
Yeah.
were just like randomly walking down the street and they were like, oh, we're going to pop into this place. There's coordination that has to go into this. So, like, to have enough to fit, like, or to have enough for everybody to have like their own vibe, but then you're purposely going to alienate one of the models that you chose. She didn't chose, she signed up for the show, but you
Mhm.
chose her knowing what her size range was, what her measurements were, how tall she was, and
Yep.
then you were going to make her feel like shit because you decided that you didn't have her sample size available. Like you couldn't have made any adjustments. And that, well, our sample sizes run from like a size 0 to a
Give
2.
me a fucking
Okay.
break.
Okay. So you knew that she was going to be there. You couldn't have provided any other sizes. Go fuck yourself. So
Exactly.
sorry. So sorry.
And I think we need to be held accountable as well of like, okay, that's what I found entertaining then, and maybe I shouldn't find it entertaining now, you know? Um, but the show itself really brought I do want to say with his we can shit on America's Next Top Model all day, all time. And I told you, this was my first experience of seeing like a black lesbian, right? Really
Yeah.
any lesbians.
Yep, 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 yep.
But this also was like the first time I ever saw like plus size people represented in the modeling community in
Mhm.
general
Yeah,
as
at all.
a person at the time who was a size 6, 8, 10. You know, like,
Mhm.
and also this was my first experience seeing a trans person when Isis was on the show and seeing
Yep.
how a trans person was did, and it was like that taboo conversation, and it was used for entertainment, but it was like we lived in a small town, like these kinds of things really
Yeah.
didn't happen during that time, and this was really like the forefront into something bigger than what we are, and it really introduced me to fashion that wasn't just fucking Walmart, you know what I mean, like,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
Costco or Kmart. Like,
Yeah.
this brought me into
Yeah.
like what real fashion was. It got me obsessed with Betsy Johnson because I didn't know that like fashion could be like fun and flirty and couture like that. Like, I loved Betsy Johnson, um but it could be luxe, it could be commercial, it could be whatever, but it brought me into a world that I didn't know existed.
Yeah, I had no
Um,
idea. I knew that like modeling was a thing.
mhm.
Oh, and the modeling agency that I was couldn't think of, but I finally figured it out was Barbizon. Um,
Barbizon.
but
Oh
they
my
had like adverts
god.
in the magazines and blah blah blah. Anyways, um, but I think that it did really bring a light to something that we had never seen before because we had all like truly were in the age of like magazines where you would get your 17 magazine or your Cosmo girl, Cosmo, Teen
Mhm.
Cosmo or Teen Vogue, and you could like
Mhm.
look through all of these and be like, "Oh, that looks really beautiful." But you had no real like insight into what it actually took to be a model. There were like
Yeah.
spoof movies like um what was that freaking movie with Ben Stiller? Um
Zoolander?
Zoolander. Yeah, she had like Zoolander where it was kind of like a joke about being a model or I think there was a couple other ones that were like female model themed or even like Devil Wears Prada came out
Yeah.
during that time where like it didn't you didn't have like a realistic point of view. So like the idea of this show was really great and like the style of the show where it was like you had mini sessions and then you had like a main event kind of really led into a lot of those types of like elimination shows as we see them today. So it was very cool to have that experience. I watched a lot of America's Next Top Model, but it kind of
Mm-hmm.
drove me into watching shows like there was like a special effects one that was on the Sci-Fi channel that I really loved. I can't remember what it's called. But they would like apply like special effects makeup and blah 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 blah. And it was very much similar. They all lived in a house together. They were, all of these things. So it did really change a lot. But I do feel like they took a lot of things almost to a new level that wasn't necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And that specifically came alight in one topic that we wanted to kind of go into, which was the like, we're rooting for you.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that
Rant.
because that's like the most popular meme, right? The instance. So this is really what happened. This is it was cycle 4, episode 7, the "We Were Rooting You" rant, right? So they had the girls had to do like a cold read for scripts that had words that you really wouldn't see. The teleprompter was going quickly. I remember that they had to say Hermes, which like
I had no
Hermes,
idea how
like
to say Hermes, like
yeah,
Hermes.
right. Hermes, right? But the girls are fumbling along, but it's the practice of doing it. And Tiffany, who to her own avail reads the words far better, but she quits before the little mini challenge is done. And she's frustrated because she knows that the task is set up to make her look stupid, and she was not wanting to look stupid. Tyra obviously needed to take back the power. And at the elimination, Tyra calls the girls' names, and then has a blank photo and says, "You both are going home." And while the one girl, Rebecca, tears up and she's obviously like distraught, Tiffany seems to be lighthearted. And I think that Tyra really wanted her to be sobbing as well, have a sob story. And she's not amused. And she says, "Tiffany, I'm extremely disappointed in you. This is a joke to you. This is serious to these girls. And this should be serious to you. Did you know that you had a possibility to win? Did you know that all of America was rooting for you? Did you know that? And then you come here and treat it like a joke." She felt like that was a slight to Tyra. Yeah. And as Tiffany was trying to defend herself, she said, "Be quiet, Tiffany. Be quiet." And she screamed at her. She says, "What is wrong with you? Stop it. Never in my life have I yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at me like this, it's because she loves me. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?" And then has the audacity to say, "Learn something from this." Bitch, what the fuck are we learning from this? You just screamed at a girl in front of everyone else, all the producers, everything, like she's seen hot. And we know that scene must have been cut down because we heard that Tyra had to literally be taken off set and calm down. That would be the end of someone's career.
Yeah. Over like this girl was just like, "I don't want to feel stupid anymore.
Right.
I don't want to feel dumb. Like I just don't want to." Like, and to be fair, she just was setting a boundary of like, this is something that was not made. I wasn't set up for success here. I was set up for failure and for you to have something to like point out of me failing and me making a mistake and like that ha ha ha, like ha ha ha, you can't say chartreuse, like anything. Like, God, if I was put on a teleprompter like that, I'd probably freeze up and be like, what?
Yeah, me
I have a hard
too.
time sometimes reading what we say literally every single week. Like, there's times where it's hard for me to say this. And, and it's just, it's so sad. It's so sad for that person to be yelled at. I don't ever, like, as a person who doesn't like to raise her voice, and I don't like to yell, I don't want to be yelled at. It doesn't make me feel good to have somebody like Tyra yell at you like that. Oh God, I would feel, oh, the dread that
Yeah.
I would feel in my bones. And the entire humiliation of the situation. Like I could not. Um on a side note though, that scene was used for many spoofs. So many jokes came from that. Like
Yeah.
Family Guy made something. I have a feeling that like SNL did something.
Yeah.
Like
Everyone
there were
seemed to do something.
there were so many, like so many spin-offs from that. So whilst it was probably a very traumatizing situation for Tiffany, like yeah, there was a lot. I mean, there were just like spin-offs that came off from that. But it did also bring in like a light of probably shouldn't be yelling. Probably shouldn't
Mhm.
be treating each other like that. And I think at that point, like I kind of stopped watching ANTM after a while because I found that like things started to just get really, one, it kind of felt really repetitive. And two, like it felt like there was less creativity and it just became more like the same rigmarole, and then things just got kind of weird.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's so many things. What was it? Oh, yeah, no, like telling one of your Tyra fake fainting.
Oh
There
my
was a
god, the
like
fake fainting, which it was like, "Hey, you're going to have an acting challenge." And it's like, I'm just reacting to the host of the show. Yeah, do you
and
remember
then
that?
yeah. Yes, and I was like, "Oh my god, Tyra." And then she was like, "Ha!" like jumped up and like,
Yeah.
"Gotcha." And you're like, "Oh no, why?" What was
That's
the other one? Oh,
wild.
the girl that got hit like with the pendulum and she just
Oh
kept
my
like,
god.
yeah. That weren't they like walking down the runway and they
Yeah.
had to like walk at a certain pace so that they didn't get hit, and she got just like knocked right off the stage. No,
And
thank you.
it's kind of crazy because they did a lot of these runways where it was like they wore in possibly high heels, or like they had to, like, there was water, like, and they had to glide up on these little, tilting whatever,
You had to walk
what,
on there. I feel like there
boards
was
or
one,
whatever.
yeah, where like the boards were like
Yeah,
you had to
topsy
walk on
turvy or
a,
whatever. They had like
oh no,
bubbles
yeah.
that they had to be in. So it was like these giant plastic bubbles and they had to like walk through them. So they were like basically made to like look dumb.
Oh, the season where they made that girl, because they were like, oh, the gap in your teeth was like too much. So they like fixed the
Yeah.
gap in her teeth. And then the other girl, like a season later, like they were like, oh, the gap's not big enough. And they
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, the rage inside of me. Like if somebody was like, I need to fix the gap in your teeth, or you'll never be a model.
Or
And
you'll
I'm
never
like,
be a model. You'll never amount to anything, which is like,
no thanks.
what?
No thanks. No thank you. Leave my teeth as they are. Thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, that was a crazy, that this show was just crazy.
But yeah, tell us in the comments your favorite or your most memorable moments of America's Next Top Model, what you thought of the documentary. I'm interested to see what the Vice documentary is all about. I'm interested to see
Same.
um I'm actually really want to rewatch the show.
Oh no.
I really
You
want to
should.
rewatch it.
You should.
But you want to jump into Ask a Millennial?
I do.
Okay. I know we're yawning over here. What the heck?
I
I'm going to start with
know.
the first one,
Okay.
and then you can do the second one.
Sure.
Okay. All right. The first one is my male 27 wife, female 28, showed her friends our sex tapes.
Oh.
And I thought that this would be an interesting one because it's like kind of like the same thing of like consent and like not really like same sort of, sex kind of things, but interesting. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. My wife and I have been together for 7 years, married for 2. We have a healthy and active sex life. One thing we do is just record ourselves, which honestly sounds a little bit mortifying, but okay. Nothing fancy, just on our phones in the moment. We have a shared cloud server that we send it to. That way we can watch it on our phones and other devices without it being saved on our phones. We sometimes like watching them together, or we both travel somewhere frequently for work and watch it then. Okay. My wife has a very active group of friends that she spends a lot of time with, just all hanging out, chatting, and drinking wine. A typical girls' night in. They usually meet at our house, so I usually just go downstairs to play video games and sometimes go out with my friends. They tend to get loud when they get drunk, and whenever I don't have something playing in my headphones, I can hear them. A common topic is their sex lives. It's made me feel weird at first to hear my wife and her friends talking about our sex life, but I remembered I used to talk about my sex life with my friends when I was younger. Okay. However, the other night I heard whooping and cheering, so I crept up the stairs to see the commotion. My wife was playing some of our sex tapes on the TV for all to see. I went back downstairs and stayed down there until they were ready for me to drive them home. Usually there's some sort of satirical cheers and such from her friends as I walk up the stairs and grab the keys. This time, a couple of them did wolf whistles, which they had never done before. And one says, "Way to go, stud." My wife shushed them and decided to come along when I dropped them off. There was a lot of drunk giggling in the car ride. After I got home, I wanted to talk to my wife about what I saw, but I thought she was too drunk to have a serious conversation with. We went to bed and she tried to engage, but I told her I was too tired. The next afternoon, when she was sober and less hungover, I asked her why she showed our videos to our friends. She got a deer in the headlights look in her face. She then said that they were just having a good time, and she told them about our collection, and they started to beg to see them, so she obliged. I told her that those were private videos and said we never said we couldn't show them to others, and it's not like she sent them as files. I think she could tell I didn't like that answer and said she'll make it up to me, and then tried to engage. Oh, I just realized it's engaged sexually. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
I backed up and said I was going for a drive. I texted her when I was hanging out with some of my buddies I think that's supposed to say buddies for the day. When I got home that night, I set up camp on the couch and have been sleeping there for the past couple nights. I don't think this is a call for a divorce or anything. I'm just upset she violated my trust like that, even though we had never had an agreement. I just thought it was implied. I'm also upset since she didn't apologize until I started sleeping on the couch. And then she originally tried to engage instead of apologizing when we first talked. Okay.
Rage.
This is from the Too Hot Takes subreddit. And I just want to say, I would divorce someone. I would. Like if that happened to me, But that's also the thing of like, that's a risk that you take, you know, of taking those videos and having them on the cloud. But I don't know, that's like a safety risk. And maybe it's different because like genders, but I don't know. I would it be okay like in that regard? Like, would I feel differently if like the guy was showing their videos? I think that would be abhorrent. And
That
I would be
was,
like, girl, leave him.
yeah. Well, and that was one of the comments. It says you need to ask her if she thought it would be okay if you showed the sex tapes to your drunk friends. She
Yeah.
violated your trust in the worst way. I'm not saying that you should break up with her, but I damn sure wouldn't record any more videos. Your wife owes you a huge apology. Oh, and tell her not to be surprised when some of her friends start to hit on you or try to sleep with you themselves. I
Oh
mean,
my
she opened the
God.
door. And like, I don't want to say that like her friends would have like that her friends would be doing that or whatever, but like,
Right.
one, I don't, I think that if my partner and I were to make videos like that,
Right.
um, or like if you and your partner were to make videos like that, it's not a we're not making these videos to upload them to like OnlyFans or to have like some side thing, because if you are having that to share with other people, that's a conversation that you have and you're like, oh, like we're making these so that you know we can make a profit or blah 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 whatever, like, and that's totally cool, you know, that's a lot of people do that and that's a-okay. But if you're
Right.
doing it for fun between you and your partner, it is implied that that is just for you and your partner. It's not you and your partner and your
Yeah.
family and your friends and this random person that you see. Like, we're not popping this on the TV, you know, holidays so that our family can really vibe into this. Like, it's an intimate moment between you and your partner. And like, it sucks that she was like, oh, I'm just gonna share this off, and it really
Right.
made him upset, uncomfortable. I can't even fathom sitting with my friends and being like, oh yeah, we make sex tapes together, and then they're like, oh yeah, let's see. Like, no, you know, it's, I'd have to check with him first. Like, that means that she's showing that she like just doesn't really respect her partner's boundaries. um and the fact of the matter is that, like, instead of immediately apologizing and saying, like, hey, I'm so sorry that I did this, I should have talked to you first about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm really sorry, I really fucked up. For her to just be like, oh, I'll really make it up to you, daddy. Like,
Right.
that's not what he's asking for.
And it's the
Um,
fact that, well, first off, it took me so long to figure out that they said engage. And I was like, what engage in what? And then I was like, oh,
it's
could you
okay.
imagine like having a conversation about like consent and all of that? And then like, I'm trying to suck
Oh,
your dick? Like,
yeah,
what?
yeah. I'll make it up to you. Like, he's not asking for that. He's asking for like respect in a situation that he thought was private. He even made it
Mm-hmm.
very clear, like, we upload it to the cloud so that it's not available on our phones, that it's not like in a place where it could accidentally be sent out somewhere. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that is really shitty. And that, I think that that's shitty, and that calls for couples counseling.
Period.
Couples counseling.
All right. You get the next
All
one.
right. I do. Let me pull it up. I was deep in those comments because I was like, let me read this. Let me
I love
read this.
that.
All right. Boo doo boop 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 boop. All right. Sorry, I had my screen when I was trying to read it. I was like, "Ooh, this is feeling a little small." So my eyes. All right, all right. So, am I the asshole for not wanting my soon-to-be brother-in-law at my wedding? Hi, everybody. I 26 female. I'm about to get married to my wonderful fiance, 28 male. Well, what are the odds that our two stories are
Right?
the
I didn't even
exact
realize that.
same, basically the exact same age? I guess it's a little bit different because this was 27 and 28, and this is 26 and 28. Close enough. Anyways, excuse me. He and I have been together for 5 years, and our wedding is set to take place this spring. So for some backstory, when I was 18, I was on one date with a guy who was 18 too. We went out to dinner and I thought we had a really great time and I really liked him. After our date, I texted him telling him that I had a great time and that I would love to meet him again. He just responded with telling me thanks, that he enjoyed our date but did not find a connection with me and would not want to see me anymore, as he felt it would not be fair to me. I really liked this guy and was heartbroken, but I moved on. 3 years later, I met my now husband, and when I met him, I had no idea as to who he was. We hit it off and clicked instantly and fell hard for each other. It was not until 6 months later, when I was at dinner with his family and his brother was there, that I realized that his brother was the guy that I went on a date with. I explained this to my husband, and he was fine with it. I also messaged his brother telling him I did not know that they were related in any way, but that I really liked his brother and would like it if he did not let our past together disturb my relationship. He responded by telling me that we were all good. However, he has continually flirted with me. When we met him for dinner, he always flirts, saying stuff like telling me my dress looks nice, that I look great, or telling me a specific thing on the menu looks like something that I would like. He always does this in front of my husband, who has not said a word about it. Has not said a word about this. He also tries to make me jealous all the time. Like when we are out with his family, he sometimes brings a girl with him, and if they have been dating for some time, and he will always kiss her on the cheek, talk with her all the time, and flirting with her. I've kept my mouth I've kept my mouth shut about this as to not cause anything bad between him and my fiance, but with wedding planning and sending out invites, I just had to say something. I told him I don't want his brother there because his brother always flirts with me and tries to make me jealous. My fiance looked dumbfounded and asked when this happens, if my brother does this stuff when he is at the bathroom or simply not looking. I told him no and brought up all the things I did here, or that she had brought up above. My fiance laughed and asked me if I was okay in the head and if I was joking. I got angry at him and said that if he could not see how truly disgusting his brother's behavior is, then he is not who I thought he was. We have barely talked since this, and I got a text from his brother saying that he was sorry if he ever made me feel uncomfortable and that he had no intention to make me feel that way. My fiance is still mad at me. Was I really the asshole for this? I just want my happiest day to be my happiest day, and it can't be that if I have to worry about his brother doing something.
I'm suspicious.
I am suspicious.
Because what are the chances that you start dating the brother?
Are you like, I need to know where in the world
I don't think
do
the
you
world
live?
is that small. I mean, the internet dating pool, like when we lived in that side of the water, I'm sure sucks. But the brother?
But I never dated someone and then dated their brother. Like, it's not that small. Did you? Have you?
What the fuck?
Have
What
you?
the fuck? Being like, no, he can't cut, right? She doesn't want them to be at their wedding, and he's probably your best man, right? Or
But I
like
think
his
like
best man.
The craziest part is that, like, oh, he's always trying to make me jealous by bringing around his girlfriend that he's been dating for some time, where he kisses her on the cheek or he's flirting with his girlfriend. Like, if my husband didn't flirt with me, if my boyfriend didn't flirt with me when we were just like out and about, I'd be like, what the fuck, man? Who are
Like, he hasn't
you?
like confronted her or anything. These are just her
It's
feelings.
not like he's whispering in her ear. It's not like he's kissing her oddly on the cheek. Like, he's giving her a compliment and saying, "Wow, you look really nice today. Wow, this looks like something you would like to eat on a menu." Like, it's not like he's saying like, "Oh, let me hand feed you this off the menu. Oh, don't you
They
remember
only
on
went on
our
one date.
date?" They went on one date, friend.
One date?
One date. I think it's her. She I
I
think
think she's
I
insane.
I think that she in fact is the asshole here.
I think she needs to get over her fucking self or tell the brother that she's in love with him.
I am all for like, it's as a person who has gotten married, and I think
Mhm.
that you can understand this as another person who's gotten married. It can be perceived as like, this is a very special and intimate day between two people. It's not, excuse me, it's not one day, it's not one person's day over like the other. Like, you and your partner, it is an important day
Mhm.
for the both of you. um but it's not my day, my happiest day. Like, I'm going to tell you
Mhm.
right now, I very, 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 very much love my husband. Like, almost to a sickening amount. Um, I very much love him. He's my very best friend, all these things. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, we have had many, many other happier days than just the one day of our wedding. Our
Mm.
wedding was great, but like, I've the most simplest of days can be a happiest day. I don't
Right.
quite remember. There was so much crazy drama that happened, like, between our families. It was stressful, like, all of that stuff that happened on our wedding day, that like, the birth of my youngest daughter, because she like physically came from my body, was one of the happiest days of my life. The first like the first vacation that we took my oldest daughter on, like, him and I together, it was one of the happiest times of our life. Like, there's so many other things that are so much happier, that like, you're putting so much pressure on one day. And
Mhm.
to be fair, like, this girl is a bit of a red flag for me.
But like, if your whole thing is like, I'm not gonna have a good wedding day because your brother is gonna be there, bitch,
Then that
almost forgot to eat on my wedding day.
I did forget to eat on my wedding day.
Like, I was so
I
stressed out
don't
and I had bubble guts
Yeah.
all morning that like I forgot
Yeah.
to eat. I didn't take my medication. And then by the time we got to like the reception, I was like, ooh, I'm lightheaded.
Yeah, I should
Can
probably
someone
drink
get me
some water. Yeah.
someone grab me a protein
Yeah, I didn't
because
have
like
like,
there's so much fucking happening. And if your entire day is being ruined by one person, I think you need to really consider like maybe this isn't the person that you're supposed to be with, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Ugh.
It's so interesting. Um, it says, this is just like rage bait, or else this girl is really stupid and a narcissist. Every
I think
action, like, every action the brother-in-law does is to get back at her. She's got some issues that she needs to work on. You are the
mhm,
asshole. Like,
absolutely. It's
this one.
crazy.
Says, wait, brother-in-law talks to his date consistently in your presence. He flirts with his date. He kisses his date on the cheek in front of you. On the cheek? Oh my God. The audacity of that man. He took you out 8 years ago and acts this way. Where is my fainting couch? I must fan myself and clutch my pearls. Like, yeah, I just can't even. This, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but girl's the asshole.
But also, here's the thing. Marriage is a commitment, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's expensive. It is, if you aren't like in it, it's a very legal commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that she's ready for it.
No.
I don't.
Well, and I think that people forget that like being married to somebody is not just about your wedding day. Like marriage is truly a long-term and a legal commitment between two people. And that things like holding on to something that happened 8 years ago for one night, like where they literally went out to dinner and he was like, no thanks, I'm okay. Like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I feel like there's some deeper things that need to be discussed. I mean, that was 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
So,
well, what's some fun stories? Remember, you can always send over your stories over at the peakmillennialspod@gmail.com, or send any of your stories, or if you have Reddit stories that you want us to read instead, go ahead and send them there, or send them over to our Instagram, Peak Millennials Pod. It's fun. It's fun to see what y'all are interested in, because guess what? It's probably interesting to us.
We probably are interested too. We would love it. We would love it. Share with us all the things.
Yeah, share with us. And Natalie, where can we find you?
You can find me mostly on, well, I mean, like I'm living in a couple of places, but you can find me on Instagram at Natalie Christina. That's where I post most often. And then I do still, I mean, like my TikTok is active, but I don't really post. I just doom scroll and then I don't. So that's where I'm both Natalie Christina at both places. And yeah.
All right. Well, you can find me _queer auntie. Yeah. Do you want to be on top? You can find me anywhere there's social media. _queer auntie. I stream Thursdays through Sundays, and then our show comes out Monday. So I hope that you have caught any of the shows. Our Collins and the Rocks episode was crazy with Cresto the Star, and then Cresto was our guest this when we're recording this, was our guest this morning for our RuPaul's Drag Race post show. Go over there. And then Sunday we're over at Fightful Overbooked talking about wrestling and going coast to coast. So we're in a lot of places. We're doing really cool things, and be sure to follow us on Instagram, Peak Millennials Pod.
Yeah.
There. Or
also,
I
think that we need to do a Collins on the Rocks episode. I think
I'm into it. I think
I want to. I think it'd be really fun.
Okay, I'm into it.
Something.
Well,
just a chitty chat. More than we do here.
We never get to talk.
I know, we're never talking. No, I think it'd be really fun.
But I love all your faces. I hope you guys like the new background.
So fancy.
It's very new. It's so fancy. But have a great week. We love you.
I love it.
Bye.
Bye, guys.